Get your reactions ready. The live portion of the show will begin in just a moment.
Driven to right field and deep. Melendez turns and looks. See ya. A home run for Cordero.
Today is Friday, July 21st, and the Yankees were taking on the Kansas City Royals from the Bronx. After the road trip from hell, the Yankees were hoping that familiar sights and sounds and the Yankee pinstripes would get them back on track. My recap, your reactions, coming up next. This is NYY Recaps.
Welcome to Yankee Stadium.
Just when they thought I was out, they pull me back in.
All right, guys. All right. I've decided not to go with the fun hat tonight. We're not going to break out the V for Victory hat in last place right now. And I just like to point out that though the Yankees did win tonight, and I'm thankful for that, they only got 5 hits. So really, this was more of the same. We did get a few long balls. We got some good defense. But before we get to the recap, in case you missed it, Jose Trevino is out for the season. He tore a tendon in his wrist, and the Yankees called up Ben Rortvedt. I'm sure a lot of the people who are watching live already know this, but if you somehow missed this game, if you were working, if you were at Oppenheimer and locked in a room for 4 hours, you missed it. He's going to be done for the year. The Yankees called up Rortvedt. They say they're going to split time between him and Higashioka. Higashioka actually hasn't been half bad with the bat, over the last month or so. Well, I mean, I guess he's been half bad. But for him, he's done pretty well. And Rortvedt did pretty well at AAA. So I actually think our offense might improve from this. Because apparently Trevino was playing with an injured wrist for the entire season. He hurt it in spring training. We didn't find out about it till now. Obviously, his numbers were down offensively, so that could have been a contributor. Playing through pain. It sounds like Aaron Judge is going to be playing through pain. And we will break the fun hat back out once we climb out of the cellar. That's our incentive. Climb out from the cellar, and then we can break out. We can celebrate. One of my favorite movies is Billy Madison. If you haven't seen it, it's a classic. Adam Sandler plays this rich guy who's about, in his 20s, and he goes back and, retakes all the grades, kindergarten, first grade, all that stuff. And when he's in kindergarten, he's just crushing kids with dodgeball, just crushing them. And if you bought tickets to Yankees versus Royals maybe 3 months ago, maybe 6 months ago, you expected that to be what it was tonight, just a complete domination. But this was a 5-4 victory that the Yankees squeaked out against one of the worst teams in baseball. So I just want to level set. This is not going to be all sunshine and rainbows. We're going to keep it realistic tonight. Andrew Taylor says 1 down, 19 to go, and you owe me that jersey. Absolutely. I will. Yankees win 20 straight. You will get a jersey, the jersey of your choice, within reason. I'm not going to buy you that $80,000 Babe Ruth jersey or whatever. But all right, so Franchi Cordero got things started. He had a home run, second deck. Second home run in as many games for Franchi. Look, we need lefties to start hitting in this ballpark. And if he's going to get hot again, I will take it. I will absolutely take it. Kieran says, just left the game. Stadium sold out. So much for a fan boycott. Yeah, a lot of these tickets were probably sold months ago, and this is probably why when Judge got hurt, they told us nothing, essentially, because they probably knew he was going to be out, but they didn't want to say because they wanted people to continue to buy tickets for this point in the season. Billy McKinney made an outstanding catch to end the top of the third. He also had a good night with the bat. By the way, Harrison Bader out of the game with a bruised rib from getting hit by a pitch the other night. Probably going to see him tomorrow or the next day would be my guess. But McKinney did a great job tonight filling in. Peraza also made a nice play up the middle in the 4th inning, diving stab, and almost doubled the runner off of second base. Yankees middle infielders, Peraza and Volpe, had a very slick night defensively. There was a play that Volpe made late in the game that took care of business, ended the game. And, Peraza, obviously, we know what he can do defensively. So, ended up being a big play. Clark Schmidt served up a 3-run home run in the second deck. That gave the Royals a 3-1 lead. Yankees bounced back. Billy McKinney. Luis Penafiel says, I believe it was the defense that mostly won this game. Yankees win. I'll sleep okay for tonight. Me too, my friend. Me too. Thank you for the dono. Billy McKinney, 3-run shot. Who would have thunk it? Lefties in Yankee Stadium. You don't even have to get all of it. That's an example of just being a lefty and hitting a pretty decent fly ball to right field. You can pick up a home run. We need more of those guys. We need somebody who's in their prime, who's about 26, who has massive power but also makes some decent contact. Spoke about it on the NYYPD show earlier this afternoon. That's why I think Matt Olson would have been perfect back in the day, but the Yankees chose to not trade for him. Hey, we could use a Tino type of hitter right now. A line drive guy who hits well with runners in scoring position. Tino was always good for 115 or so RBIs. I think he drove in about 140 in 97. He was unreal. Anyway, that gave the Yankees a 4-3 lead. Bottom 5, Gleyber Torres tacked one on.
There it goes. That ball is high. It is far. It is gone.
15th home run of the season for him off the top of the wall. He is hitting in the 260s now. The defense could honestly be better. The defense could be better. But it's fair to say that he has done his job. In a year that the offense has been down, Gleyber has had a mostly Gleyber season. He's probably going to hit, between 260 and 275. He's probably going to hit, 20 to 23 home runs, depending on how hot he gets in the second half. I don't think he's going to get to 30. I think there's a chance he could get to 25. Probably not. But I could see 22, 23, especially when you get into September and you're seeing a lot of those either tired arms or the guys who are coming up from the minor leagues and just coming to the major leagues and just trying to get it over the plate. Probably, only cup of coffee they'll ever have in baseball. You hope you run into a couple of hanging sliders from those guys. Schmidt was done after 5 2/3 innings. He gave up 3 earned runs on the home run. 2 strikeouts tonight, 1 walk, 5 hits. Not an outstanding performance on paper, but I thought he battled. It was hot. It was tough to pitch. You saw both pitchers were completely drenched in sweat. And I honestly think that Aaron Boone came and got him at the right time. I saw a lot of people complaining about them, about Boone coming out to get him when he did. Let me see how many pitches he had. He had 64 pitches, 45 strikes. So he hadn't gone deep into the game, but he was obviously tired. And those are rough conditions to pitch. You're out there. Any pitcher who's pitched in the heat can tell you your mouth starts to get really dry. You get that cotton mouth. It's really tough. Your hands get very slick, because of the sweat. Even your hat can be so soaked with sweat that it's honestly heavy and it feels weird. So I don't blame Boone for having a quick hook with him. He's usually a guy who comes out after 6 innings anyway. Anyway, top 7, amazing catch by Billy McKinney once again. I tell you what, whatever he had for dinner, have it again tomorrow and get the whole squad to join in. Peraza got absolutely robbed of an extra base hit in the 7th, pulverized the baseball to center field, got nothing out of it. One of the reasons I'm optimistic about Oswald Peraza is that Paul O'Neill really likes his swing, and he seems to really understand his swing. Paul O'Neill really understands hitting in general. He co-wrote that book with Jack Curry, Swing and a Hit, and you hear a lot of the expertise of his hitting in that book. Well, or read it. I listened to it, but he really understands hitting. I don't think he ever wants to be a hitting coach. I've seen that suggested a lot. Today he was on the field. He was talking to Sean Casey. Sean Casey, obviously, big man in Cincinnati, which is where Paul O'Neill lives. So they probably know each other. They're probably friends. He can probably get tips to the players via Sean Casey is his way of being kind of like a, I don't know what the word is, just kind of like an ad hoc hitting coach. But I'd imagine that he came down and told Casey what he knows about these Yankee hitters, and he probably told them, look, Peraza can hit. Peraza's a line drive hitter. I know he hasn't done a lot since that first game that he came back up, 0 for 3 again tonight, but again, hit the ball very hard and drives the ball. And we've seen him hit from line to line. And I think there's another guy like him in the minor leagues, and that is Everson Pereira, who's doing a great job in AAA. Massey hit another home run, his second of the night for the Royals in the 8th to cut the lead to 5-4. But the Yankees shut it down and win the game on a review at third base. Finally, the losing streak is over.
Ball game over. Yankees win. Yankees win. You're a winner.
Dr. Hitskin says O'Neill would make a great coach. I think that he would too, but I don't think he wants to. I don't think he wants to leave Cincinnati. He seems like a guy who, he married his high school sweetheart, and they're probably very codependent, and, probably just wants to be at home. They're, I believe, empty nesters soon, if not already. And I'm sure those years are going to be, something that he doesn't want to miss, traveling around the country, with a bunch of men. So I don't see him ever coaching, but I like the idea of him being kind of a guest instructor, somebody who can come down from the booth when he's in town calling games and, just kind of give his insights of what he's seeing. He, as an analyst, he gets to watch all the replays. He gets to be in all the meetings. I'm sure he understands a lot of what is going on with these players. Anyway, we got to give out the first belt in a long time. We're not retiring the belt while we're in last place. I think one man had a night above all else, and that is Billy McKinney. Jack Rebus says it should not be that close against the Royals. And I agree with you. I agree with you. Look, this was one of those games where we just needed a win. And you can only beat who's in front of you. Let's take a look at the box score for tonight's game. By the way, gotta mention, tonight's episode brought to you by the Game Time app. Buying tickets to your favorite events should not be stressful, and it should not be frustrating. And luckily, if you have Game Time, you know already, like I do, that it's not. Last-minute tickets, extremely low prices, all sorts of events, sports, comedy, theater, music, whatever you want. If they sell tickets to it, you can probably go there. I don't know for sure if they have cockfighting, but we'll see. Use the code NYY Recaps for $20 off and start using Game Time. It's awesome. Josh Pedraza says, terrible win. I don't know if there's such a thing. I mean, there are wins that can feel like losses, but I don't know if there's such a thing as a terrible win. I mean, unless somebody like huge gets hurt or something, I don't remember if the Yankees won that game that Judge sacrificed his body to run through the wall. I think they did. That you could classify as a terrible win. If he had not run into the wall and the ball just hit the outfield wall and 2 runs scored, but he stayed around for these next couple of months, I think we would have made that sacrifice because we'd probably be better off. So in that instance, I guess, yes, probably a terrible win. So you talked me into it, or I talked myself into it. So Dr. Hitskin says Schmidt's stuff was subpar. Look, tough night to pitch, but he pitched well enough to win. I mean, that's all you can say. He pitched well enough to win. He got him into the 6th inning, gave them a chance. They got an off day Monday. So you did have to use the bullpen a little bit, but they used them in shorter spurts. 2/3 of an inning for Peralta, 2/3 of an inning for Michael King. Tommy Kahnle gave up a home run. His ERA is already way up to 2.84. He's had a couple of rough outings in a row. And Clay Holmes shut it down, 2.33. Anyway. Pedro says that Billy photo there, it's me watching the Yankees at the moment. Let's take a look at it. I'm sure it's in here. I just got to close out a screen so that we can look at it. Yeah, let's watch the highlights together. We haven't done that in a while because the Yankees have been losing, but I do like to play the highlights when they win. Franchi, low and in, that's the danger zone for lefties at Yankee Stadium. Hits it off the second deck facing. That's a beautiful swing right there, and he was actually heating up at AAA before he got called up. So 373, that'll get it done at Yankee Stadium with ease. There was the up and away fastball from Schmidt. This was a breaking ball, but right in the middle of the plate. But luckily, McKinney out there going to run it down, maybe 3 or 4 feet short of the track. Nice piece of hitting, but great athletic play from McKinney. This was the line drive up the middle. Peraza, if he made a quicker transfer, I think they got him. Volpe stepped on the guy's foot. But that middle infield of Peraza and Volpe, if they would just flip-flop them, it could be like an Alomar and Vizquel. I swear to God. But I don't think they're going to flip-flop them. And also you got Gleyber Torres, who, as we mentioned, hitting very well. So I don't think the Yankees are going to move him because there's nobody else hitting. So McKinney getting into one right here. Again, Yankee Stadium, you just have to get it in the air and you got a shot. Not only is it short, but there's a draft stream out there. So you get it high enough, it will carry out. This was Schmidt with the breaking ball for the strikeout in the 5th. Gleyber hitting one right down the middle, inside outing it off of the LG OLED, or just to the left of it, it looked like, for a solo shot. And that was number 15 for him. 106 exit velocity, hit very hard. This is Peralta with the serving up the shot to center field. McKinney going back. Look at the ups here. Would not have been a home run. I think it would have hit the top of the wall, but still a very nice play from Billy McKinney. And don't forget, we got his weird picture coming up. This was the shot by Peraza that he's not going to get a lot of credit for in the box score, but smoked. And look, that's what's supposed to happen when you slam into a wall. It's supposed to give, and there's no, like, concrete sticking out. Yeah, McKinney. That's a great picture. That's like the picture they put in the paper when you were caught like shoplifting and you had a mug shot, or DUI. Something, not quite DUI. It's more like you got arrested for doing something weird. Anyway, but Yankees win, beat the Royals. Woo-hoo. Jose Morales says, when is Judge coming back? There's no confirmed date as of now. He is going to start ramping up pretty soon. They said they will have a timetable soon. I'm still guessing early August. I'd say August 5th or August 6th. If you recall a couple of months ago when he got hurt, the prediction from Brian Hoke's expert podiatrist was August 5th. So I'm going to stick with that. That's about 2 weeks away. Maybe he can be back sooner. We'll see. We will see. Alejo Fan Vlog says, how about Wells at catcher, second base Peraza, shortstop Volpe, and Pereira left field? I mean, that's a nice youth movement, but then what do you do with Gleyber Torres, right? What do you do with Rortvedt? What do you do with Higashioka? The Yankees have some decisions to make, and we are 10 days away from them having to make them. Trade deadline approaching fast. Let me know in the comments, in the chat, who you want, what you want the Yankees to do, whether you want them to be buyers or sellers. I think still the best solution they can do this year, because they're in last place, is to set themselves up for next year. I honestly believe that. If you can get something for Clark Schmidt, if you can get something for Luis Severino, if you can get something for Harrison Bader, who's going to be a free agent in a couple of months, said he would play here for free, here's all you do. If you want to re-sign Bader, you say, hey, listen, Harrison, we need to get something for you, but we will make an offer and be aggressive for you next year if you want to come back. That's if they want to bring him back. I think you might end up with some kind of a move that lands Bellinger in center field, Bader on another team. Maybe they, configure some guys around and either Peraza gets moved or Peraza ends up at second base and Gleyber gets moved. But then again, as we keep saying, Gleyber has been one of your more consistent hitters, and it's tough to move that in favor of a rookie who's, hitting 178 at a time when your offense is struggling. But I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what the Yankees do.
Game over, man.
Alvin Brock just became a member. Appreciate that, my man. I will add you to the reel. Ian says, over-under on Glaber being traded regardless of our record. How can you have an over-under on that? You mean yes, no?
Most impressive.
I'm going to say no. I don't think they're going to do it. I still don't think they're going to re-sign him, but I don't think that they got the cojones to trade their best hitter right now at a time, and their most consistent hitter, by the way, at a time when they're offensively struggling. I don't see it happening. All right, guys, tomorrow we got an afternoon game. I will be on with the 3:45-ish recap. And then in the evening, I'm going to see Oppenheimer, which I am absolutely stoked about. I love Christopher Nolan movies. I love historical pieces, and the reviews of this are crazy. So I am excited about that. But thanks to everybody who joined tonight. Obviously, we're happy with the win, but you would have liked a little bit more of a lopsided win against a team like Kansas City. All right, guys. I will see you next time.
Ball game over.
Most impressive.